Welcome to our NFL betting show where we each get $1,000 a week to spend on our favorite NFL bets, as well as one free $50 parlay at the end of the video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another betting show with me and Matt. Unfortunately, week one just was not a good week for me in all aspects. You know, the Seahawks lost, I lost in fantasy, and my bets, unfortunately. I'm down to Matt. He's got a big lead already over me. So looking at the spreadsheet, you know, I have it linked below. You guys can always check it out. Matt right now is up big. He's up $516, and I'm down about 130. So quick math will tell you he has about a $650 lead over me after week one, which is just insane. So Matt, you want to victory lap it real quick?
Yeah, and for anyone hopping in for the first time to our betting show, basically we each get $1,000 every week. Last week I had one bet miss which was the Broncos. That was obviously a very close game, could have gone either way. But outside of that, I had pretty much a perfect week. The big one, my lock of the week, was the Eagles. Now that got really sus at the end because I don't know what Jalen Hurts was doing, but he fumbled. They had a couple bad plays, almost choked away that lead, but they were leading the entire game. So that ends up hitting. I'm up $516. Mike is down 134 right now. But in all honesty, Mike, your week wasn't even that bad. You hit more bets than you didn't. You just went heavy in on the Seahawks, which I told you not to do, but you didn't listen. So you ended up taking the L on that one.
The reason I'm mad about going heavy on the Seahawks is because it's my biggest rule to not bet on my favorite team. And I do it every year. And I always I jinx them. So everybody watching, you can blame the week one loss on me. It was me because I bet on the Seahawks, and I put $300 on that. So almost a third of my money went straight to the Seahawks, and they blew it. So not a great week, obviously, but I'm looking to bounce back this week, right? And you'll notice my bets this week are a little bit ballsier, I guess you could say, and that's because I got to play catch up a little bit. I can't let Matt get this big lead over me. I have to take some back in week two. I have to get myself back in the green. So starting off, Matt, I know we both have a bet for the Chiefs and the Jaguars, and I want to go through mine first. And this is, again, one of the bets I'm talking about. It's pretty ballsy. I'm going to put $150 on Jaguars money line against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to win me $390. I think the Chiefs right now aren't great, as good as they've normally been, right? I know Kelsey is probably coming back. I know Chris Jones might come back. But the Jaguars, man, they look really, really good. And I'm super high on the Jaguars. I'm super high on Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, ETN. Trayvon Walker actually looked really, really good last week against the Colts. I'm so hyped for this Jaguars team. They get to play the Chiefs at home. They get to play, after a week after they pretty much, well, actually it was pretty close against the Colts, not going to lie. I don't care how much they win by. I just need them to win. I'm taking the Jaguars money line over the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I'm doing the opposite, actually. I'm going to be taking – this is, I think, our one bet that's on the same team. I'm going to be taking the Chiefs money line. It's not winning big odds. It's a better thing. If you're really confident in the Chiefs, toss it in a parlay. That's what I'm also doing. But for the Chiefs, I mean, they beat the Jags last year in the playoffs, for starters. And I think they're a better team. They're getting Chris Jones back. They're getting Travis Kelce back. I mean, at least that's the expectation. They just signed Chris Jones. So I'm fully expecting both of those guys to play. I know Kelce had the hyperextended knee, but he should be back. He was a game-time decision last Thursday. So I'm expecting them to be back. I think their team, because everyone wants to bring up, Mahomes and Andy Reid, but having Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, you're basically your second and third best player, is massive for them. They still almost beat the Lions. The Lions are a bad matchup for them. I don't think the Jags are that bad of a matchup. And honestly, you said that the Jags looked really good. I thought the Jags should have taken care of business a little bit better against the Colts. They pulled away at the end, so you look at the scoreboard and you go, oh, the Jags did good. But I don't know, man. I like the Chiefs in this one. I feel pretty comfortable with it. I'm only putting $100 on it, though. So it's not it's a small one for me. And You'll see that with my bets this week. I have 4 games where I'm only putting 100 and then 2 games that I'm going really heavy on. So Chiefs, Jags, I mean, I don't really think it's a bad bet from you, Mike, but I'm just more confident in the Chiefs, so I'm just going to go the safe route in this one. And moving on from the Chiefs, Jags, I got the Packers over the Falcons right now, -1 for the Packers. I think the odds are just over 100. Depends which book you're using. For me, it's -110 for the Packers, and I feel pretty confident in them. They looked really good last week. Now, the identity is going to change a lot with Jordan Love under center instead of Aaron Rodgers, but this defense is still really good. LaFleur is a great coach. I think he kind of gets talked about that he's not that good of a coach. Dude, he is a good coach. They're going to be competitive. They could win the North potentially. still a lot of football to play, but they could. I'm not saying that I'm picking them. I'm not picking them, but they could win the North. They're a good team. They're a good defense. They can run the ball well. If no Aaron Jones, that's going to hurt them. But overall, the Falcons team, I mean, they beat a Panthers team that's not that good. I think the Falcons and them are going to have a good game, but I think the Packers are a little bit better. I think they're a little bit more well-rounded. Desmond Ridder still has a lot to prove. You could say the same about Jordan Love, but the Falcons offense doesn't even feel as complete as the Packers right now. And that's kind of strange. It'll be an exciting game though. Bijan Robinson, he looked terrific in week 1. But overall, I think the Packers are going to win this one comfortably. And I think -1 is something I feel very safe with.
Yeah, you're talking to somebody who also bet the Packers last week, and it's hard for me to get a good analysis off them because the Bears, they were awful. Like coaching, execution, offensive, everything about the Bears on Sunday looked terrible. So it's hard for me to say, well, were the Packers really good or were the Bears really bad? Was it both? I don't hate this bet, honestly. I don't think the Falcons are very good. I think the quarterback, you're getting a better quarterback with Jordan Love, and it's pretty much never a bad idea to bet on the better quarterback in a matchup. I don't hate this. I don't love it necessarily, but I don't hate it because I think the Packers have the talent to win this game over the Falcons. All right, in my next bet, I'm going to go with the Chargers at Tennessee for the Titans game. I'm going to take the Chargers -3. I'm going to put $200 on it. Going to win $390. Here's the reason why I'm taking Chargers -3. I think the line is a little bit more favorable for the Chargers because they lost last week. This is a Tennessee team. They look bad against the Saints. Ryan Tannehill looked straight up dookie. And if you're going to give me a Chargers team that just scored 30 points against Miami Dolphins, I'm going to take that, right? Because I think Justin Herbert is still really, really good. Now, I know Austin Eckler is dealing with some injury stuff, but as of right now, the wide receivers are healthy, and I think that is enough for Justin Herbert. The defense for the Chargers, if the Saints could make plays on Ryan Tannehill, I think the Chargers defense could as well. They have a lot more talent than the Titans defense does. Than the Saints defense does. And I think a field goal line is pretty generous. So I'm going to take the Chargers -3. I'm going to trust Justin Herbert, and I'm going to hope that Brandon Staley doesn't sabotage this game.
I actually love this bet. I think Chargers -3
Wow.
makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, but here's the problem. I don't ever bet on the Chargers. They're
Yeah.
on my I never bet on the Chargers because they're so unpredictable. Like, I'm serious, dude. Any way
No, I get it.
you can chalk up a loss, they will do it. And also, Derrick Henry against a Brandon Staley-led defense or ran defense is a disaster waiting to happen. Ryan Tannehill was horrible last week, and the Titans still lost by 1 point. That's a Mike Vrabel team. They're able to hang in. He threw 3 picks. He looked atrocious. It looked like Malik Willis might be taking over at some part this season, which don't be surprised when it happens because Malik Willis actually took a step this offseason and in preseason. So Ryan Tannehill's terrible, but you have Derrick Henry against a run defense that is awful.
Yeah.
Kenneth Murray, Kenneth Murray is one of the worst linebackers in the NFL, probably the worst starting linebacker in the NFL. I think they're going to be able to run all over them, and this could be one where it's like, how did the Chargers somehow lose this game when everything tells you they should win? So I like it, Mike, but I'm just not betting the Chargers.
No,
I don't like them.
Fear. I definitely get the fear of betting on the Chargers. It's just really hard for me to imagine even the Chargers to start the year off 0-2, like with Justin Herbert. It's just so hard for me to imagine. So I'll take the field goal line. I'll not feel good about it. I'm definitely nervous to bet on the Chargers, but I'll take the field goal line, and I hope that they pull through.
Yeah, so moving on from the Chargers, I got another AFC battle. I got the Ravens +3.5 against the Bengals. Now, I'm honestly not that confident in this one. I'm putting $100 on it. It's kind of one of the ones I'm like, hey, I kind of like this. The Ravens are battling a bunch of injuries, though. They lost a lot last week. Dobbins is obviously the main guy, but there's a chance that Ronnie Stanley doesn't play. There's a chance that, Marcus Williams is out. He tore his pec. So there's a lot of injuries that they have. So, but the thing is, the Bengals look so bad that I'm like, 3.5 points for a Lamar Jackson team, kind of have to take it. So I'm putting on like the bare minimum. I don't love this one. I would not even recommend betting this one, to be honest with you, but throwing $100 on it. I like the Ravens. I like Lamar Jackson. So let's see if they can, make the Bengals season start 0-2, because then it's a little bit of a disaster situation in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I don't know if I love this. The Bengals are going to be hungry for a week 2 win at home. The Ravens are injured to all shit. I mean, you forgot to even mention J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles. I mean, that is like just terrible. I probably would not take the Ravens to cover this game, to be completely honest with you. I know what you're saying about Lamar, but I just don't feel good about the Ravens this week, to be honest. All right, and for the next game that I'm going to be betting, I'm going to take the Colts at the Texans. I'm going to take the Colts -1. I'm going to put $200 on it, and that is because I was very impressed with what I saw from Anthony Richardson last week. He was actually making some really quick reads. He was getting the ball out fast. He was throwing the ball with pretty good accuracy, and he is a threat with his legs. I mean, that is what we knew coming into the NFL. He's going to be a threat with his legs. Through at the goal line, he was unstoppable. So I think the Colts are a better team with a right now better quarterback than the Texans. I'm going to take them. I'm going to put $200 on it. I'm going to win $381 when Anthony Richardson walks into Houston and gets a dub.
First off, shout out Anthony Richardson. He looked a lot better than I would have expected. He looked the best out of all the rookie quarterbacks.
You're an Anthony Richardson hater, dude. I try to tell you he's nice.
I mean, I'm more of just like, hey, let's this dude go through some struggles and not have like the expectations through the roof. That's why I say for all the quarterbacks in the rookie year, like don't, because that was the whole thing. Trevor Lawrence was like, oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a bust. He was bad his first year. It's like I'm pretty sure Urban Meyer was his coach. He was on the worst team in the league. Maybe let's not call him a bust.
Yeah.
But anyways, Anthony Richardson did look really good though, and I think you're right about the goal line stuff. I don't necessarily hate the reasoning behind this bet, but I think the Colts are a pretty shitty team. I think the Texans are a pretty shitty team, and I try to stay away from games where it's just like, oh, look, the Texans could just end up pulling away with this one. So I'm staying away from it because it's two bad teams. I usually don't go after that, but I do think you have a lot of fair points, and I think the Anthony Richardson part is important because he deserves a lot of praise after looking pretty damn good last week. But moving on from Anthony Richardson and the Colts, let's get to a team that was just insane last week, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they are playing the New York Jets, which unfortunately, this was supposed to be a good game. Zach Wilson is under center, so I think you know where I'm going with this. Hammer Cowboys minus 9.5. I'm putting $300 of my $1,000 on this one.
Wow.
Now, I really like 9.5. I don't think that this game should be close. I get that the Jets are coming off of a win against the Bills, but we have to kind of take that one as an outlier. It's week 1. Josh Allen played like the worst game we've ever seen Josh Allen play. The Cowboys are coming off of a 40-point win against the Giants team that, guess what? It's substantially better than the New York Jets football team without Aaron Rodgers, all right? They won 40-0. Their defense looked unstoppable. The Cowboys defense is going to be ridiculous. What do we think how much is Zach Wilson going to turn the ball over this game? 3-4 times? If they can run the ball a little bit, maybe the Jets have some sort of chance, but I just don't see that happening. Like, I would be really surprised if this is a one-score game, and this is a game where you look up and it's 35-7 or something like that. So I'm hammering this one. I like it. $300 for the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys win big. I think their defense puts up another insane performance in this one. And then we're going to be talking about the Cowboys defense being the best in the league, which it should be discussed as. Yes, the Niners defense is good. I'm a Niners fan. I love the Niners defense, but the Cowboys defense is really legit. So I think you gotta give credit where it's due.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you here, Matt. I think minus 9.5 is too big of a line for a Jets defense that is also in contention for being one of the best in the NFL. I don't think the Jets win this game. I'm not putting this on upset alert or anything. I think if anything, the Jets defense and the Jets running game will keep this game close. They know that Zach Wilson isn't that guy. Zach Wilson's not gonna be able to go blow for blow with Dak Prescott. Everybody in that building knows that. It's not like Aaron Rodgers is injured in the first quarter of this game and they had no game plan for Zach Wilson, right? Now, I think with a full week to prepare, they're going to say, hey, we're going to take the ball out of Zach Wilson's hands. We're going to rely on our defense. We're going to rely on Breece Hall, who looked great last week. He looked awesome. And they're going to keep this game as close as possible. Now, does Dallas still win? Yes, Dallas still wins. But you're going to give me 10 points? I don't know if I'm going to go that far, man. I don't know. With that defense, with that running game, if Zach Wilson can just like not totally. And by the way, what's the reason they beat the Bills? Josh Allen threw a bunch of turnovers. He threw 3 picks and fumbled. Dak Prescott is another one of those guys that is notorious for throwing interceptions. So it's a little too rich for me. I wouldn't feel great, but I would probably take the Jets to cover there if I was betting on this game. I know. I don't feel great about it, but I look at that defense and I can't give you 10 points to Dallas. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me say one thing, because that is a fair point. The Jets defense, it's good that you bring them up. They played really well last week, especially too. Dak Prescott, I thought about that too. He could turn the ball over. Here's the thing. You brought up that they're going to have a full week to game plan with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Well, guess who else has a full week to game plan against Zach Wilson? Dan Quinn. And you know what they're going to do?
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to stack the box against Breece Hall, and they're going to say, all right, Zach, complete 3rd and 5s. Do it. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to throw the ball across the middle and throw it straight to the Dallas linebackers. That's what's going to happen.
Leighton Vander Esch about to have the game of his life.
I think that it's going to be so ugly on that side of the football that the other one won't matter that much because the Cowboys are just going to have a great field position. They're going to be able to run the football. Like, look at Dak's game last week. he threw like 170 yards. I don't even think he threw a touchdown against
Yeah.
the Giants.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have to do much. That's the thing. I don't think it's going to come to the point where they're like, all right, Dak, like start forcing the ball downfield and like when he does throw interception. So that's why I did think about that though. I think that's a fair point, but I think we have to realize like having a full week with a stacked defense against Zach Wilson, if you can slow down the run game, good luck. Like good luck to the Jets offense. That's my thought on it.
And then for my last bet, I'm going to have the Dolphins and Patriots game. Listen, I need to make up ground. And because I need to make up ground, I need to make some ballsy decisions. So I am going to go with the Dolphins -3. The reason I'm going to go with Dolphins -3, Dolphins offense looked phenomenal last year. I would argue that it was probably one of the best games of Tua's career. If not the first best, it's the second best. You can argue the Ravens game last year, maybe 466 yards, 3 touchdowns against a talented, on paper, Chargers defense. That offense is looking great now. The Patriots actually impressed me last week. They hung around with the Eagles. Like Matt said earlier, they almost, screwed up his bet. But I'm still going to take the Dolphins -3. Give me a field goal over a much more talented offense, and I would argue much more talented defense. I am going to put $450 on this to win me $891. I'm very confident in the Dolphins. And I know the first drawback to this is you say, oh, well, Bill Belichick. Tua has been pretty good against Bill Belichick in his career, and he's seen him a lot. So I trust Mike McDaniels to scheme up a good game plan. I don't think the Patriots, I mean, you're really going to put rookie Christian Gonzalez against Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. I like Christian Gonzalez. That's not a good matchup. So I'm going to take the Dolphins -3, 450 on it to get me back into the green.
So I don't hate this one. Like I think it's interesting that you're going this aggressive on it, though. I will say that I don't like Dolphins. I don't like Dolphins -3, but I would like Dolphins money line. If you look back at a lot of just Bill Belichick Patriots games, I mean, he usually gains a few points. That's typically been a thing, and I know Brady was there for so long, but it's like you typically take the Patriots to cover or do whatever. I was very encouraged by the Patriots showing last week, not only because their defense looked good and hung in against Jalen Hurts after getting like destroyed to start the game, but Mac Jones threw for like 350 yards with like no receiving weapons, and it was pretty bad. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think Devontae Parker was out too, who's like supposed to be their one. Like Kendrick Bourne had a game, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I also think that you look at the Dolphins offense and like they went up against the Chargers and Tyreek Hill went crazy. You're not going to see that this week. They're not going to put their DBs in spots where Tyreek's going to be able to shred them. That's Bill Belichick's whole thing is he takes away your one. That's always what he does. Are they going to limit Tyreek to 40 yards? Probably not, but they can slow him down enough that I think they hang in. So I don't love it like as much as yours, but I don't think it's like a bad bet or anything, but I just am like a little hesitant just because I don't know, dude. I don't like betting against Bill Belichick, especially like 3 points. I could see the Dolphins winning it. I just don't see them like winning by like over a score, and that makes it a little bit too close.
I mean, 3's a field goal. Like it could be 24-21. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not. I know. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little hesitant though, but I don't think it's like I think your logic is there. The Dolphins offense looked insane last week.
Now
the Patriots don't have a good roster.
Yeah, no, you don't. I will say, though, if this bet doesn't hit, I am removing all bets of players I have on the jersey wall. That's never going to be a thing ever again. I bet on JSN last week, never doing that. So, Tua, it's in your hands, my friend.
Yeah, okay. And then I got 2 more bets. I'll do the smaller one first. So, first off, I'm going to go Browns money line over the Steelers. First off, Steelers already banged up. Cam Hayward's out for like 8 weeks. Kenny Pickett and the Steelers offense looked awful last week. Now, granted, it was against the 49ers, and the 49ers defense is ridiculous. Also, side note, Mike, why does Kenny Pickett look fucking awful?
He looked terrible.
Unless it's in a 2-minute offense. Besides that, he looks terrible. He just
we're not ready for the Kenny Pickett is Tim Tebow conversation.
So yeah, Kenny Pickett looked bad. But I don't like this one. I mean, the Browns stomped on the Bengals. Their defense is better. They have a great run game. You're missing Cam Hayward now. I just think that they're gonna win. And their line is what? Minus 125 to win a game that they should definitely win. I'm taking that, putting $100 on it. So a little bit less units there, but overall I like that one. So I don't think there's much to bring up just besides the fact that the Browns look pretty good. The Steelers looked atrocious. Let's rock with that and see if that pans out.
Cam Hayward being out is huge. And I think Deontay Johnson might be out too, if I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
mistaken.
he pulls his hammy. He's out too. Yeah,
Yeah, so they're down their receiver and one of their best D linemen. Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in the Steelers this week, unfortunately.
and especially against a Nick Chubb led rushing attack with
I think especially against a Jim Schwartz defense, he's going to try to replicate exactly what the Niners did, and he's got the guys to do it. So, man,
yeah.
it's going to be rough.
I like this one. So I'm not putting a ton on it, like I said, but $100. Maybe I should put more to be honest. But okay, moving on to my final bet. This is my lock of the week. Saints money line over the Panthers. They're at minus 160 right now. 3-point favorites in this one. And honestly, the Saints are just a much better football team. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're going to win the South. Panthers, meanwhile, you have a rookie quarterback, Bryce Young. He struggled in week 1. Jesse Bates had 2 picks on him. So for this reason, I'm taking the Saints. I think they're a better football team. I think this is a super safe bet. I think the line is right, but I think that everyone should be expecting the Saints to win this game. They won last week against the Titans, and Ryan Tannehill looked bad. He threw 3 picks, and you could make the argument, oh, if Bryce Young doesn't throw 3 picks in this one, maybe they're going to beat the Saints. The Panthers just aren't a good football team, and what we're going to see this year is the Saints are going to contest. And what we're going to see this year is the Saints are going to consistently win close football games. So Saints, lock of the week. I think that they're going to look really, not a big win in this one, but they're just going to be up in the game. They're going to run the ball good. They're going to play defense well, and they're going to win. They're a better roster far and away. So for this reason, Saints are this week's lock of the week. Yeah, and for that one, that's my other big game that I'm betting on. So that one is $300 for me as well. So $300 on the Cowboys, the Saints, and then 100 on the 4 other games that I'm taking.
Yeah, I think we should talk about some of the other games. And there are a few games that you're probably noticing we didn't talk about. One of them being the one tonight, Thursday Night Football, Vikings at Eagles. This game, I think we both have the same mindset. These two teams are just too banged up. The line is at 6.5. It's a little too risky to bet with all these guys injured. We also didn't choose to bet Raiders at Bills. Bills minus 8.5. I fully expect the Bills to dominate in this game, but minus 8.5 for a team that couldn't even beat Zach Wilson last week is not. I'm not feeling great about that. I told you why we're not. I'm not betting on the Seahawks and Lions. Don't want to jinx them. Sorry, Pete. Once again. There's a few other games we didn't decide to go on. Giants 5.5 at Arizona. Again, yeah, they should probably cover, but they looked atrocious last week, so who knows?
Yeah.
And then the last one we didn't bet on, Commanders at Broncos. Didn't feel good about either one of these teams. Didn't really play great last week. Minus 3.5 over a field goal. I'll wait it out. I'll wait it out another week on that one.
And finally, getting to the last thing of the day, the parlays. Mine is going to be straight money lines for this one. I'll rock through it. It's a 4-team parlay. Got the Chiefs minus 180, Niners minus 360, Saints minus 160, my lock of the week, and the Cowboys minus 475. So 2 kind of gimmies in this one with the Cowboys and the Niners. Cowboys obviously playing Zach Wilson-led Jets. Niners, they've beat the Rams 8 straight regular season games. They have the Rams number. I think they're a much better team in that one. The Saints, I already brought up earlier that I really like this team. I think that they're going to easily handle a win against the Panthers just because the Panthers aren't a good football team. And then the Chiefs, we're betting on Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. They're both back. I think that they can take care of business against the Jags. That's probably the one I would say I'm least confident about. But it's also, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They easily beat the Jags last year in the playoffs. I know the Jags kind of hung around, but it was a pretty comfortable win. And I think they're pretty similar team this year. So I like this one. It's $50 to win like 195. I want to say it's like plus 220 odds. I think it was. So overall, I mean, this is a pretty safe one here. I mean, maybe not a safe one, but for a 4-team parlay, I like it a lot because it's kind of 2 gimmies and you're really just betting 2 games in this one. So I like the parlay. Last week, I barely missed my parlay. The Broncos choked it.
All right, and then for my parlay, I will say, Matt, be careful betting on the Chiefs, dude. It's risky. They were the ones that busted my parlay last week. So I hope to continue my jinx this week with my parlay. I'm going to take your 49ers money line. I'm going to agree with you on that one. I'm going to take the Giants money line. They have a significantly better head coach. They should beat the Cardinals. If they don't beat Arizona and get 40-pieced by Dallas, we got some serious problems in New York. I'm going to take the Bears and Buccaneers over 40.5 points. I think the offenses were pretty good last week, and the Bears defense alone might just give up 40 points, so they're pretty bad. I'm going to take Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns against the Raiders. Again, if the Bills lose to Zach Wilson and then Josh Allen doesn't throw for 2 touchdowns against the Raiders, we got serious problems in New York. And then my last one, this is kind of just an LOL. I'm going to take Rashad Penny under 29.5 rushing yards. The parlay comes out to plus 908 odds. $50 wins me 508. Had to go ballsier, but I have to play catch up here a little bit, so had to go a little risky. What do you think of the parlay, Matt?
I like it a lot, but I don't know why Rashad Penny was thrown in there. I have no idea what the point of that was.
Yeah, that's pretty random, right?
Everything is gonna hit, and he's gonna have like 30 rushing yards. Watch.
If he does, no, it's gonna be like Eagles are killing the clock, and then he just runs for like 25, and I'm just gonna actually scream. So, but no, I like this. Thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you guys for watching the betting video. Like I said, the spreadsheet is in the description of the video. If you guys want to go check it out and keep track along with us, you guys are more than welcome to do so. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you to Matt for coming on. And Matt, one last thing I want to say is, how confident are you in fantasy this week?
Well, I'm playing you, so extremely confident. It's kind of a layup win.
All right, bro. All right, well, we'll see. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out.